to my channel. We have got to talk about not Love is Blind, look at me, Real Housewives of Potomac season 9. It just debuted with a really strong opening episode. I am so excited to see the new ladies on board, and I just can't wait to see more of what it is that they get into. We've got Stacy, we've got Kiana, we've got Jacqueline joining the pack as well. So we really truly needed fresh meat. And also to mention, Giselle Bryant is moving forward in a more positive direction with Dr. Wendy Osefo, which is something that we had been begging for a really long time, for the girls to stop with all of like their icing out, their freezing out of people and whatnot. So I'm really happy to see them moving forward in a more positive direction. All right, now let's get into this recap of what went down. The episode kicked off with a reenactment of Karen Huger's DUI crash, complete with the deer escaping from her car. That part, like, the RHOP producers are always like, they're always on point. So I truly did appreciate that part. Ashley really wants to make it clear to us that this is Karen's second DUI. Like, she cannot stand Karen, and she is not going to let Karen live this down. Now, Giselle picks Karen up for lunch because, of course, Karen cannot drive right now. She's got a suspended license after having her second DUI. And so Giselle comes to her home, where the Black Bill Gates opens the door and allows his lovely lady to exit the home and into Giselle's carriage where she awaits her. Now, the two of them go to lunch at some random like strip mall restaurant, and I was just thinking, oh my god, RHOP is as low budget as ever. I cannot with this franchise. This is not a place that you would see the Beverly Hills girls going. You would have never seen the Vancouver girls going here. I don't think you'd see the New York girls going here. Like, they're low budget. It is what it is, right? Now, Karen, Giselle is pressing her about the DUI and everything, and Karen's like, listen, accidents happen. Girl, yeah, it's true, accidents happen, but DUIs are not accidents. DUIs are conscious decisions that irresponsible people make to endanger society. And that's not cool. I really do not appreciate her downplaying the seriousness of this, especially with this being like something that she has done like for the second time now. She blames the passing of her parents and her marital issues for the poor decision making. But here's the thing. The marital issue storyline was years ago. The parents passing away, her parents passing away, God bless and God rest their souls, was even, older than that. It's been 5 years or something like that. You know what I mean? So I'm not convinced that these are good excuses. And given the fact that this is not the first time that she has made this decision, I'm curious what her excuse was the last time. I don't think you can blame grief for your decision to drink and drive. And I really wish that she would just own up to it. But that's the thing about Karen. She never really owns up to anything, right? She's always going to find an excuse. She's always going to bob and weave her way out of things. And, it is what it is. Normally, I laugh along and have a fun time with it. But when it comes to something as serious as a DUI, I'm not cool with it, especially with the fact that this show is broadcasted to, millions of people. And so for her to be so flippant about the DUI is not cool. It's setting a really bad example for the people watching. Now, at this low budget restaurant of theirs, and no hate to the restaurant, I'm just saying, the server, I really enjoyed him, and it felt like he was a paid actor. He comes in, he's like, oh, I know what Karen's going to order. Like, she's got a special order, and he recites it completely, right? And then after the two of the ladies finished their like brunch, he goes, oh, just so you know, Giselle, like, Karen has never had a drink here. I just want to put that on the record. I was like, Karen, go ahead and slip him that money. I know you paid him a deposit for him to show up like this. Go ahead and pay him the other half of the money that you owe him for the way that he showed up and showed out for you. Like, that was absolutely like hilarious. I love that, you guys. Honestly, like, it felt good, you guys, like seeing Karen and Giselle getting along. Like, I know Giselle was trying to be a little bit messy here and there, but she knew when to back off. And Karen, she was not taking full responsibility or accountability for what it is that she did. However, she still managed to plug in her signature humor. One thing I will say about Giselle is that I think she's finally realizing that, yeah, her place on the show is at risk, and that the audience is not feeling her. We have not been into her attitude. her toxicity, her nastiness, and just her viciousness. And she is starting to dial it back. I feel like the old Giselle would have really done some really nasty things to Karen this season, but she's getting the memo, especially after being given the second seat instead of her signature first seat. And she's learning to adjust, and, like I said at the beginning, this extends to Dr. Wendy as well. And we're going to see in which way a little bit later on in this recap, which, by the way, if you are enjoying the recap, please make sure to give this video a thumbs up to let YouTube know that you are enjoying it so that YouTube continues to push out my content to you. All right. Now, this also will be publishing on my Grace Report podcast. I had a Grace Report podcast since like 2016. I was using Anchor to upload the episodes, but then Anchor ran into a lot of issues, and now they're back in action, which means my podcast is back in action. So definitely make sure to check out the podcast version, and now or in the future, whenever you'd like. Okay, you guys. So the two of them are still gossiping here, there, and Giselle claims that Mia has a revolving door of men, which I felt was very unfair to Mia, because guess what? Ever since Mia came on the show, she was married, right? She was married to Gordon all those seasons, and now they're going through a separation, and she has one new boyfriend. To me personally, that is not a revolving door, right? And I think it's especially rich coming from the one woman on the show who truly does have a revolving door of men. She's had Sherman on the show. She's had some other guy on the show, the guy from childhood. She has had some athlete on the show, another kind of guy. She has had Pastor Holy Whore on the show. She has had at least 5 men on the show, and it's only been 9 seasons. So I really don't get where she got off claiming that Mia has a revolving door just because she has one new man, when Giselle has a different man sitting behind her at their reunion every year. And that is shout out to Monique, by the way. Now, I gotta say that I am really happy that Mia and Gordon are managing to co-parent successfully. Yeah, of course, they're bickering here and there, but for the most part, they are doing their best to be there for their children. I guess the children are living primarily with Mia, but Gordon is seeing them on a daily basis. And he's, by the way, living in the same building as Mia as well. So that really helps with everything. We see them take the kids out for ice cream, and the kids look happy and well adjusted, right? But looks can be deceiving, so I can't say too much. Now, Gordon claims that Mia didn't give her all to fight for their marriage. He thinks that Mia should have separated and taken some time to see whether or not they can try things anew instead of going straight into having a new boyfriend. Mia denies going straight into having a new boyfriend, but it's sis, you really did just jump into this relationship. We saw it play out the same time you're announcing your separation, divorce, whatever. So what is there to deny? We've got you in 4K admitting that you're dating this guy and you just left your husband, so just accept the criticism. I know it's hard, but accept it. There's no gaslighting us here, right? And then we also see a flashback to Mia admitting to having an affair with this guy. And that's why the guy is convinced that Jeremiah is his son. And then they also talk about how Gordon doesn't want for ink to come to Jeremiah's haircuts. Mia doesn't see what's so wrong with her new boyfriend coming to the son's haircuts, but it's kind of girl, I don't know. I really don't like the way that Mia is using her son as a storyline this season. I feel like it's unfair to her son. Go ahead, talk about yourself. Karen's got her DUI storyline and whatnot, but, and then Ashley's got that divorce that's never actually going to happen. Wendy right now, she's talking about resigning as a professor and continuing on with other ventures. Everybody's got something going on. But Mia is using her the child's paternity, all that type of stuff as a storyline. And I think she's doing a big disservice to her son by doing that. And I feel like she's going to regret that in the future. And I really wish that she would kind of back off, especially for this reason. They're not filming the show 12 months out of the year, 24/7, right? They have months of break, which if Mia really was concerned, and if her man really was concerned about the paternity of this child, they could have handled this, during the off time away from the cameras and squashed it. Karen already warned her at the reunion that this was not cool to do to her son, but Mia's not listening. Mia, I'm sorry, girl, but you were giving gutter butt with this. Like, you really, really are. This absolutely is not cool. They decided to just, avoid talking about this in private the entire break. But now that they're back on the show, and I guess Mia and Gordon both need that check because Gordon's business is not his business anymore, they are going to sell their son for a storyline. And I find that to be very, very sad. Now, speaking of Ashley, she's still going with that fake divorce storyline. Honestly, this needs to be her last season on the show. It's too much. Listen, she brought a lot to the show at first when she was married to creepy Michael. I think especially Michael brought a lot to the show with all of his antics and whatnot. But at this point, we have no more use for Ashley. It's been like 2-3 seasons of her pretending to be getting divorced. The papers still are not filed. Like, she's got to stop playing with our in our face at this point. Like, we're over it. Now, I already told you about Wendy resigning as a professor. I say great for her. That's not something she ever really pursued for herself. She made that very clear, that it was more so her mother's dream. And so it's nice that she was able to do that for a bit, and that she enjoyed it and the prestige that came with that in her mind anyway. And that she's ready to move on to something else. I like the online show for her. She's getting a lot of wonderful, true White House guests for her show. And I hope that she's able to continue with that, maybe even get onto network television with that. She's still doing a lot of guest spots and everything. Good for her. I really want to see her continue with that. That obviously is her passion. Now, let's get into some of the new girls that are joining us on the show, okay? We've got Vivian, who is a rich woman who is friends with Karen, who owns a boutique. And then we also meet Stacy. So Vivian's going to be a friend. Stacy is an official housewife. She is on the far left over there. She is a former QVC lady, right? She's right there next to Karen, by the way. She was a QVC host, and she looks the part, she sounds the part. She's got her TV anchor voice at all times and everything like that. And, so far, she seems nice. I'm happy to have fresh blood, you guys. I really, truly am. That's the reason I've tuned back in. So do you guys remember, I used to do the recaps with Kempire and Layla, by the way. I'm sure they're still going to be recapping as well. So definitely make sure to check out their channels for that. And hopefully we'll be able to reconvene for at least, a little trio again at a certain point. And I used to have so much fun recapping that with them. I think we did 2 seasons of that. And then the show got so dark, so toxic, so heavy. I had to step away for my own, I don't want to say well-being because that's so dramatic, but I like fun, I like messiness, but I don't like the level of viciousness that people like Giselle and Ashley brought the show to, in my opinion anyway, right? But now with all of this fresh, new blood, I feel like I could come back and see what's happening. I'm here for Kiarna. I'm here for Karen, as always. I'm here for Stacy. I want to see Vivian a little bit more too. And listen, I love Karen, you guys already know, but Mia, I really hope she stops with this storyline about her son, but I hope she keeps juggling Gordon and Ink. That's the storyline that I want to see. That's the side of Mia that I really enjoy. You know what I mean? Now, Stacy reveals that she's separated right now. She's been separated from her husband for about a year now, and they were married for 16 years. And so that's got to be very, 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 very painful. So it's going to be interesting to watch her navigate that. So the story of how they fell in love was that she was on a flight looking beautiful, and her husband, who was a German man, which, by the way, not Stacy being a German man, girl. We'll talk about that with my channel members. So the guy, she had an empty seat next to her, and the guy comes, he's like, oh, is someone sitting here? And so he decided to sit next to her, and the rest is history kind of thing. And they got a daughter together and everything like that. And she was from Philly. She was living in Philly while she was doing QVC and while she was married to that man. He was a businessman, by the way. And now she's up in the DMV with the Potomac lady. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how she evolves as a newly single woman. It would have been interesting to watch Robin evolve in that way, but she decided to double down on Juan, and she lost her job. Too bad, so sad. Now, Giselle decides that she wants to throw a party in honor of Karen. It's Karen's birthday, and she's going through a lot, so she's throwing some sort of a hattitude party. It's everybody's going to get a hat based on like a theme that Giselle has for them. And there is a caveat. So if you're bringing attitude, you will be given not one of these chic hats that you're seeing on Karen or in Giselle's hand or anything like that. You will be given like, a naughty hat. So it could be a banana, it could be a taco, it could be something like that, right? So it's going to be interesting to see how she weaves in her signature shade into this party. And, I don't know that it's in good faith for Karen, right? Knowing Giselle. So Ashley comes in, stank ass Ashley comes in with this basket. And listen, as much as I dislike Ashley, I have to laugh at what she brought for her, Karen. So she brought her a gift basket. So it's a water bottle, obviously drink water instead of alcohol, right? Then it's like Uber gift cards because, she can't drive anymore. And then she got hers. And the way she just casually puts it on, she's like, yeah, and I also got her this like bird feeder that she could paint because she needs to be doing something else, other than drinking and driving. I was like, oh, Ashley, damn. Like, okay, like you did it, girl. You put your foot in that. I have to admit. Now, Wendy shows up to the party and she says that although she's accepting the olive branch, she and Giselle need to sit down and discuss where they're at and how to move forward in their relationship and friendship, or if there is even going to be a friendship, right? Then we get to meet another new girl. Honestly, our HOP producers heard us loud and clear that we were tired and we needed fresh blood. They brought on another girl. So at this point, we're meeting our third new girl. And her name is, correct me if I'm wrong, her name is Jazzy. And so Jazzy is this beautiful, positive, nice girl. Every time she meets someone, she compliments them. And I love girlies like that. I'm a girly like that. And so she just feels like a really good, bubble of energy. And then she starts talking about like her marital life. She's like, oh, my husband, he's in the NFL. He just won his second Super Bowl. And I'm like, Jazzy, be careful. You need to get some evil eye jewelry or something, because let me tell you, the evil eye is looking you in the face. Giselle does not like when beautiful women are living happy, love-filled, married lives with successful husbands. Giselle is going to talk about your husband like a damn dog, girl. I know she was burning to, but she's going to try to do it subtly. I think maybe she'll have like Ashley do her bidding, or perhaps like someone else, because she knows that the audience is sick and tired of her going after people's husbands. But she's just so, she can't help herself. She's so bitter, right? So she's going to do her best. And Ashley's kind of bitter these days too. So I feel like she's going to have Ashley do it, to be honest with you guys. But I really do hope that Jazzy watches her back and her marriage when it comes to Giselle. Now, Karen is late to the party, and Mia, like as they're waiting for her and talking about how she's late, Mia drops the dime that Karen called Jacqueline while she was drunk. She's like, yeah, she called her drunk, so that call doesn't count. Like, she really is after Karen this season. Can you guys remind me why she's so after Karen? I feel like Karen was always nice to her, and then Mia would start digging at her, like from the sniping from the side, so to speak. And I really don't understand why she's like that to her. I know that Karen finally clapped back, but she still kept it cute with her, and she even advised her to stop selling out her son for a storyline too. But I don't know, Mia cannot stop going after her, and I find it to be very weird, her level of vitriol. Anyway, Karen finally shows up to the party, and she's wearing her own hat, and it's kind of like reminiscent of the Beyonce Renaissance tour. Like, it's a cowboy hat. It's like bedazzled with like the diamond or Swarovski like chandeliers from it and everything like that. And, I thought she looked fabulous. She always looks fabulous, right? Then Wendy, one thing I have to say is that Wendy, she'll be like narrating a scene, and then they'll do a flashback on her. And it's like seeing a completely different person. I'm always like this every time. I'm like, that's Wendy. Like, girl, she really overhauled her face. Like, damn. No hate on it. No shade on it. I love when women, do things to jazz up the place a little bit and make themselves feel better, when she looks amazing now. But it's crazy the difference between her original face and the one that she has now. Money well spent, I will say. She was already cute, but now she's looking a lot better. So definitely not hating, you guys. Now, let's talk about how Karen was dissing Giselle at every turn this episode. Like, she knows Giselle's antics and she's not about to fall for it the way someone like Wendy would, right? So she shows up to the party late, and the party was in her honor. Giselle specifically said in the invitations not to wear a hat, but here comes Karen wearing a hat, and it's like a very fancy bedazzled hat as well. And then Giselle had also prepared like a list of like, future drinks, right? There was 2 alcoholic and 1 non-alcoholic. And they're all like, there's like the Surrey County drink. There's like a 65 drink or 56 or something. And then the last one was like the Grand Dame. And that's the one that was like a sober drink, right? So Karen did not want any parts of that. She's like, no, I'm ordering an iced tea. Like she really was just like, nope, absolutely not. I'm not taking any kind of bait, Giselle. Absolutely not. So that's something I love about her. She does not fall into Giselle's trap. She always just, has her and like Robin as well. When Robin was on the show, like she has them stuck on stupid at all times. And that is something I love. And I wish that she would teach Wendy how to do that, because Wendy is so desperate for these women's friendships. And that she would fall for this stuff, hook, line, and sinker, but Karen has a certain kind of like regal air to her and like a confidence that that the other girls would benefit to learn from, you guys. Okay. So the girls, they start asking Karen some questions about her DUI. And she's like, listen, I will answer questions, but let me just say this. Y'all need to be careful with how low you're going to go, because if you come for me, it's over for you. It is over. I'm cutting you out. And I feel like she would really go after people. And so the girls really did take heed. And so they treated her with kid gloves, which makes you wonder what it is that they've got going on that Karen is aware of, that they're so scared of us finding out about, right? And that included Ashley. So do you guys remember how last season Ashley and Giselle launched GNA, which is basically some screen printed socks and like tights and whatnot. And then they hosted some kind of a fashion show featuring the clothes that never actually made it to the website. Anyway, I thought that was over because I'm pretty sure no one bought that stuff, but except maybe Robin. But they mentioned it in this episode. They were like, we're going to do a fusion something for GNA. And I'm like, okay, what are y'all fusing? I don't know, but good luck. Let's see how that turns out. Okay. So they're going to be hosting an event for that. And I'm looking forward to seeing how that goes. Wendy, she disses them about it per usual, which is, true. Like that thing is a mess. It really, really is. Now, Jacqueline, who you guys know I absolutely love, she comes back and she's here at the hat party and she's telling everybody that she's so happy for Mia and Ink. She's like, I feel like this is true love. Whereas Mia's relationship with Gordon, to me, it was more of a business arrangement. And Mia's sitting there like, it was. And that pisses Karen off. She's like, so you had children for a business arrangement? Like, really? Like, this is what you want to have out there on TV about your child's father? Like, that isn't cool. And so they start talking about how like her kids are constantly being thrown under the bus for her storylines. And then Giselle jumps in, with Karen, and she's like, yeah, it's true. Like you did not protect your kids, let's talk about how G exposed you for like, for Jeremiah saying that he saw you in bed with another man. Like, why would you do that? Like, you're just going about this all wrong. And I wish that they would also bring up the paternity storyline of how Mia has the men fighting on camera about who's the father of her son, like that type of stuff. Like none of this is cool, and I was so happy that the girls were calling Mia out for it. She needed to hear it. Someone needs to tell her to stop playing with her son like this, right? And it was going so well until dizzy ass Wendy comes in. She's like, we're all mothers here, girls. We're all mothers. Why would we say that? Girl, and that's the exact reason why they're saying it. They're mothers and they know that they would never sell their children out for anything in the world. And here's another mother selling her child out for a Bravo check, okay? Like, no, it's not cool. And who are you to be interrupting this amazing storyline, this amazing form of unity between the Grand Dame and Gizzard to defend Mia, the woman who hit you in the head with a purse, who threw water on you like 2 seasons ago. Like, this is why I will never ride for Wendy. Like, she's not even riding for herself. That's the type of girl you don't back up because she doesn't even back up herself. Like, girl, go away. Go away from me with this, Wendy. You were so dizzy. Anyway, you guys, that wraps up what went down on the Real Housewives of Potomac Season 9, Episode 1. I really want to know what you thought about it. So please make sure to leave all of your thoughts and opinions in the comment section down below. And as usual, we'll chat. That's all for now. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to check out my podcast version and on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you get your podcasts. Okay, you guys, take care. Have a great week. Bye.